Well, this is part of the training, and these glasses, different glasses, simulate different eye diseases that a person may or may not get as they age. Cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration, and a stroke. So what we do is we have the participants put these on, and like these glasses, you can see where your vision would be only in this central visual field. So you'd have no peripheral vision. So they would get to experience what it's like to have nothing outside in this field. Same thing with this one. You wouldn't have that central vision. Central vision accounts for 35% of your vision. So if that is gone, a person who had no peripheral vision, this might be the one who maybe is at the grocery store and they're walking along and they jump and startle because they think you've jumped out at them when you've been there all along, but they didn't see you. So that's a real eye-opener. This one simulates a stroke, and this would be where you've lost part of your vision in both eyes, and yet you might be blind in part of each eye. So they would put this on, and I would say, okay, let's say I've given you a plate, and you have meat, potatoes, and peas, and you eat your meat and potatoes, and you don't eat the peas, and I would just think, well, Norma doesn't like peas. I'm not going to give her peas again. And it may well be that Norma just didn't see them. So stroke victims are taught to scan. Or we'll say, okay, Norma, you have meat at 12, potatoes at 3. So those are always a real eye-opener. But the one that is the most is this one. And this is yellowing of the lens. And this is not an eye disease. This is something that's going to happen to all of us to one degree or another. And when your lens yellows, and it can be from years. It can also be from too much sun exposure, so I always say wear sunglasses. From smoking, if you're a smoker, your lens may have a tendency to yellow a little quicker. And what that means, and if you were to put this on and I were to say to you, and this is what I have the participants do, these are different colored pills in here, and you would have those yellow or those glasses on, and I would say to you, I want you to take 2 white, 2 yellow, 2 blue, 2 green. You will not be able to do that because the colors are going to look the same. So the significance of that is, imagine that you were a senior and you're living at home by yourself and you need to take your medication and you've dropped 2 pills and they're both the same color. Or to you, they're the same color. You don't have a clue what it is that you're missing. So this is the one, this and the hearing test is the one that participants like the most. I mean, they can really relate to that. And then if you are shade blind on top of it, it makes it even worse. So some of the things then that I would recommend is if you're going to print something out for a senior, never do it on a blue piece of paper or a green because it's going to wash right off of there. It's no accident that caution signs and stop signs are red and yellow. So we always say bump the font up if you're going to do that. And some simple things that you would do as a result of this. We know that by the time you're 40, you need more light, 10 times more light. I would need 10 times more light to read than you would. Okay, so we would say, okay, put them in a room like this. If I were looking at Norma and there were a window behind her and she was, I'm her consumer, and she wants me to read something, I'm probably not going to see that because the window is behind you and I'm going to get a glare. So that would be a suggestion, remove that senior. So that is the glasses part. These obviously would simulate arthritis. Now, if people don't want to go out and buy a pair of gloves, all you have to do is take some masking tape. Tape every one of your knuckles, just with masking tape. Or tape 2 of your fingers together, and then try to go about and button your blouse. Unzip your purse, take your money out of your wallet, and then you would see what it was like to have arthritis. And again, for a lot of people, we could say that that's an invisible disability. It doesn't have to show. You don't have to have swollen knuckles. And someone could have arthritis and you'll never know it. So that's a fun exercise to do. One of the things that I do as well is with jelly bean. As we age, unfortunately, we lose some taste buds. Or seniors who have dentures, their taste buds aren't as active, maybe aren't as ready. So you don't always think you're eating flavorful food. So what they do then is put a lot of sugar or salt on it. Those are the things you can taste. So I do an exercise with a jelly bean where I say, close your eyes and hold your nose, and I'm going to put a jelly bean in your hand and I want you to chew it, and you see if you can discern the taste, and you can't. You can't, because I've taken away your visual cue. If I were to give you a red jelly bean, you would assume it was cherry, right? Okay, just by the color. Your past experience tells you that. So now you close your eyes and you don't see the color. And then you close your nose and you don't smell it. So seniors who have lost their sense of smell, then that's going to affect their taste buds as well. To say nothing, let's say you're a senior and you've lost some of your sense of smell, you're not going to smell if you have a gas leak. Because that... there is no odor to natural gas. I mean, our utility companies put an additive to that, and that happens to be one of the first things that you would lose your sense of smell to. So let's say that you didn't have a sense of smell and you were hearing impaired. So now you're not going to smell the smoke, and you're not going to hear your smoke alarm. So the great thing about now is technology. I mean, technology is phenomenal. There are so many things. If you have macular degeneration, I mean, there are scanners that will scan your newspaper and put it up on your TV screen. There are smoke alarms that are tied to a flash. Perhaps with a senior who maybe had a, let's say, did not have a sense of smell and was hearing impaired, you could probably fix a smoke alarm that vibrated, put it under your pillow, so they could feel that. The era that we live in is great. That it is not, just because you have these barriers doesn't mean you couldn't live independently.